In this video, we'll be adding some logic to our game loop so that the user can decide when they want to end the game. Now, if you recall from our last video, if we were to run this code, the game loop would execute, but then it would immediately stop. And that's because as soon as we enter a game loop, which only happens when dead is set to false, in our loop we set dead equals to true until the main game loop exits. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to change that to allow us to actually decide when we exit. And when the user exits the game, that's when we'll set this dead variable equals to true and exit our game. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to give our game a white background. We weren't even able to see our game in the last video, and that's because the game loop exits immediately, so nothing actually gets displayed to the screen. So let's change that now. So we'll just do white underscore color, and we'll set that equal to 255, 255, 255, which is the RGB, which stands for red, green, blue value associated with the color white. So once we actually get inside our game loop, we can take out this print statement. We don't need that anymore. We were just using that in the last video to follow our progress. So we're going to add a loop here. And what this loop is going to do is check for all of the events that happen in our game. And an event could be a user pushes a button, or in this case, it could be the user clicks the X to exit the game. And we do that, we say for event, and pygame.event.get. And what's this doing? It's just getting all of the events, and then we have this for loop that's going to iterate through all of our events and store each particular event in a temporary variable called event. If you're not familiar with for loops, you can go back and watch our video on for loops. We talk about these in depth. So what do we want to do in our for loop? We want to check to see what kind of event happens. And we can do that with the if statement. So if event.type, remember, events can have all different sorts of type depending on what action the user takes. So we want to check to see what type of event it is. And so we're going to check to see if that matches pygame.quit. And pygame.quit, quit has to be in all uppercase, typo there. And pygame quit means the user clicks the X to exit the application. So for every event that the user does, we're going to check to see if they quit the game. And if they did, what do we want to do? Well, we want to set this dead variable equals to true. Right here, we had that set where as soon as you enter your game loop, we set that to true, so it won't get stuck in an infinite loop. But since we have this logic here now, we don't actually need this. We have our game now, and we have our display height and our width, and we have our color, but we don't actually write any of those things to our game display. And that's because we haven't created a game display yet, so we'll do that now. So we'll create this game underscore display variable, and we'll set it equal to pygame.display, which is how you access your actual display in Pygame. And we're going to set the mode, and we're going to pass in a tuple here. And this tuple is going to contain the width and height of our game. So this will actually give our game a width of 1000, which is this variable here, and a height of 800, which is a good rectangular surface to write our game objects on top of. So now that we actually have our game display, we actually want to make our background this white color. Now eventually we will add an image and overwrite this, but for now we're just going to worry about having a plain white background that we can add elements to as the series progresses. So what we want to do is we want to go back here. Actually, we can delete this comment. We don't need that anymore. And what we're going to do here is we're going to fill our game display with the white color, which is very easy to do. All we have to do is game underscore display dot fill, and we'll fill it with that white color. And this will actually make our game display white. You don't want it to be inside of your for loop because you don't want to fill your game with anything. You don't want to fill it with anything dependent on the events the user takes. You always just want it to be white. And then the last thing we need to do is actually update our display, which is simple. This is pygame.display.update. And that's it for this video. So we'll just save this, and when we run it, it might take a couple of seconds, but then you'll see this output. And now you'll see just a plain white game display. And when you click that, it exits and it says run succeeded, but that's off screen. But what we've done in this video is we've created a game display. We've set it to the proper width and the proper height. And we've actually filled it with this white color. And we gave the user the ability to click the X in the top left corner. And when it does, the game exits. So in the next video, we'll be adding a character in the background to our game, so you can actually see the character in the background, and then after that we'll add some movability and functionality to our game, and then fairly soon you'll be able to make your own games in Python. So once again, thank you for watching this Python video. Please like, subscribe, and comment, as well as visit us at www.python.com. Thanks for watching.